Hello, Gertrude. It's nice to meet you. My name is Dr. Smith. Would you prefer Gertrude or something less formal?
Oh, you can call me Gert.
Okay. Well, it's nice to meet you. You filled out your intake assessment and I reviewed it. Before we get started with this session, I just want to make sure that we are on the same page. I have your informed consent to speak with you about any issues that you want to cover during our sessions.
Yes, I've given you written consent.
You understand that if at any time I deem that you are a danger to yourself or to others, I am considered a court-mandated reporter and must, by law, report my findings to the proper authorities.
Yes, I understand.
One last thing, anything that you tell me, I want you to know that it is confidential and can only be shared with your express consent unless, as I stated before, I believe you are a danger to yourself or others. Do you understand your rights?
Yeah, I understand.
So what brings you to my office today?
Well, I am here because my husband and I, so we're about to experience empty nest syndrome, and I'm a little worried about what this upcoming stage of life is going to look like.
I see here that you have 3 children. So your youngest child is about to leave home. If I'm understanding correctly, because your children will all be gone, you're worried about experiencing empty nest syndrome.
Yes, my husband and I have raised 3 beautiful children, a little biased. So with the upcoming departure of our youngest son, Noah, I'm a little bit fearful about what life is going to look like without my kids being in the home.
So let me clarify. 2 of your children have already started the next phase of their lives. And now that the youngest is ready to embark on his new life, it's generating concerns of empty nest syndrome. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
In your own terms, what do you think empty nest syndrome is?
Well, I think it's when, like, your children have moved out and the parents are again in that couple phase exclusive relationship with one another, and they worry if, like, the children not being around changes the relationships.
Okay, so may I ask if there's something specific about this upcoming transition in your life that's causing you to worry?
Well, I have lived like the last 24 years raising the kids, and basically living my life according to what is happening in theirs. So now with one child left at home, I am not sure, I guess I'm not sure how to move on.
Okay, if I'm understanding you correctly, 24 years of your life revolved around your children and their dreams. And now that your youngest is about to leave, you kind of don't know how to move forward.
Yes, that's correct, and I do have a job that I love, um, and I am investing a lot of energy into it. So
So let me ask you this. Other than your job, and I remember from your intake form that you work at Richland County Public Library. Um, Outside of your job, do you have any hobbies or goals of your own?
yeah, I do work at the library. Um, I I do have hobbies and goals. Um, I like to weight train at the gym. Been doing that for about a year, and currently I get to engage in my hobbies at work. So I am doing that, and also I'm enrolled in school, and coming up here soon, I will be graduating.
Okay, congratulations on that. It sounds like you're keeping pretty busy. What hobbies do you engage in at work? Because it sounds like your job is very fulfilling to you.
Um, well, at my job, I get to do crafts with customers. Like I teach how to make various craft items, and I also get to facilitate an English group. That's where English is not the first language in my international students, and I also do it in reverse in Spanish. I also teach a Spanish conversational class. I facilitate, and so that you are right. It is very fulfilling to me.
Okay. All right. I also heard you mention school, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I see that you're a student at Southern Wesleyan University and pursuing your Bachelor of Science in Human Services.
Mm-hmm.
Are you enjoying school as well?
Um, Enjoying is a strong word. I do enjoy taking classes, but as an adult working, and it's not always easy. But I set this goal for myself many moons ago, and it's something I want to complete, and I like challenging myself.
Do you anticipate this feeling of fulfillment that you get from your job and school to change once your youngest child leaves your household?
Mm. Well, I guess I anticipate things slowing down, and that makes me nervous.
So, to be sure I'm hearing you correctly, a slower pace makes you feel nervous. Is there something about slowing down that you're unconsciously trying to avoid?
Um, hmm, oh, trying to avoid. I hadn't thought about that before. Um, but I guess it's a tough question. I guess I don't want to find out if my husband and I are not good as a couple. That makes me nervous. Even though we've been amazing parents, and also even though I know we're a team and we are willing to fight for a healthy marriage, I have some anxiety.
Okay. if I'm understanding you correctly, the situation causes you some anxiety. It must be really difficult to admit your anxiety about the strength of your marriage after your last child goes to college. Consider your answer and reflect on which feelings stand out the most.
Hmm. I guess. I guess that's correct. I mean, having to admit it and saying that I have anxiety about the strength of my marriage, it's actually giving me some relief and peace.
Okay.
It's hmm, it's almost like I don't know, like I've given myself permission to move forward with the plan or something, and yeah, I can almost hear my husband saying, we can do this, Gert. So feels strange, but admitting to myself, I guess, is helping me to face it, and I don't know if I'm making any sense, but it just doesn't seem as scary as it did previously now that I'm saying it out loud.
Okay. Facing truths can be very liberating. I have another question.
Okay.
I'm curious. I see from your intake interview that you and your sisters, you take turns caring for your mother. Is that accurate?
Mm. Yeah, that's the way we do it. Is my mom stays at each sister's house for about 4 months approximately, and then we just rotate. So there's 3 of us.
How do you view your parents' marriage? Weak or strong?
Well, definitely weak. They are divorced and have been for a long time. They always fought. I don't remember a time when they didn't, and it was a horrible thing to have to see. So even though I love my parents, I'm glad that they separated.
Do you think that their marriage plays a part in how you view your marriage? Take some time to reflect on your impressions from their marriage.
Well, I actually do not look at their marriage for anything of how I view my marriage. So I think this is because they weren't followers of Christ. My husband and I are, and I always knew my husband and I were doing things differently.
Very interesting. So if I'm understanding you correctly, you were able to learn from the mistakes that your parents made in their marriage and come away from that not being discouraged, but used it as an opportunity to do things differently.
Absolutely. I did not even consider them a source for basing my own marriage.
To clarify, you feel your faith in Christ made your marriage stronger.
It has always been the source for us whenever we've experienced any kind of marital issues. So I guess it may get back to my leaning on God for this next phase as well.
So, Gert, do you and your husband have right now a support system, anyone that you would go to for guidance. Take some time to think about that answer because support means different things to different people.
Hmm. We have, hmm, I, right now I trust two couples uh, that I feel are already in this phase. I have different levels of trust for each couple, and so I may share one thing more with one than the other. Um, but I guess, yeah, I have somewhat of a support system, if you will.
Does your husband share your feelings about emptiness syndrome? Have you discussed your feelings with him?
We acknowledge that, and I have addressed the fact that we are sad and that this is difficult. And we have agreed that we will focus on the positive. Like our family is expanding, we'll be able to travel. Sooner or later, there's going to be grandkids. But I feel like this is really too far off. There's the waiting in the meantime.
Well, it sounds like you both feel the same and have a plan. Are you and your husband worried that you won't be enough for each other once the children are absent?
I guess I am worried about a lot of things. This may very well be one of them. For me, I like to be proactive about issues so that I have a plan of sorts to like ease the transition.
I think being aware that it's just a transitional stage is important. Do you see yourself moving past the empty nest stage?
I have moments where I can picture myself, having fun with Marty and traveling and doing other things, activities. And then there are other moments that I just remember having fun with the kids, and it just had a different feel to it. It felt different.
So what I think I hear you saying is that you need a new way to connect with your husband in order for you to kind of rediscover each other again.
Yes, but I believe it'll take some work.
So you think there's something that you have to do to make the reestablished harmony happen?
Yes, doing what I know to do, and that is having a plan. Make a plan, and so I guess that's why I'm ultimately here.
Remember, the foundation that is the solid marriage that you already have. All you're doing is building on what already exists. Do you trust what's already there?
I trust God for my marriage, so I'll build on that.
Then just let it happen naturally. You and your husband already have a rhythm together that works. Some of the best surprises in life have been unscripted. Can you go off script?
Well, eventually I will have to.
That sounds like a great goal to set for yourself. So, are you comfortable ending this session here? I think you have a lot to think about and that we gained some good ground today. How do you feel?
Um, that that sounds good.
Okay. I would like to see you for some additional sessions that you said you would like. As we discussed earlier, if you're willing, until you feel you've resolved your anxiety and allayed all of your fear, I'd like for you to go home. Don't think of it in a sense of homework, but think about everything that we discussed. So that we talked about during the session, and what you would like to accomplish.
Well, I'm definitely willing. I want to thank you for seeing me. This was great.
Well, it was very nice to meet you, Gertrude,
Thank you.
and I'll see you next session.
All right.
The receptionist will handle you
Thank
outside.
you.